Going live. All right. It looks like we are officially live on YouTube. We are recording. We are live. Perfect. All right. Welcome to Thursday's Cosmic Conversations. I am Stacy Harder. I'm doing a few things, so I'm a little distracted at the moment. Meeting is now live stream. Perfect. Okay. I don't know why it keeps... There you go. All right, welcome to Thursday's Cosmic Conversations. I am Stacy Harder, and I just saw a message. I don't know what you mean, Jen. But for those of you that are joining us for the first time, welcome. This is something that we do every Thursday, and it is Cosmic Conversation, so you are more than welcome to ask questions and to join us live on Zoom if you want to do a spirit sprinkle. And my intentions for you is this allows you to connect with your high vibe tribe and to be able to go through this life and through this situation with more love and ease and grace, and to know that you're not alone. So welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. All right, Heather, take it away.
Thank you, dear, very much. As we come together every Thursday, we've been doing our weekly gathering forever, for years and years and years, and we are allowing ourselves to continue with community and build that sense of unity, because we're all in this together at a time where the world is telling us we must separate and be isolated and not connect with other people. So in order to combat that message, we come together electronically so that we can continue our oneness, our journey to oneness. If you have questions, please ask them. Each week I come and I answer questions as best of my ability. And then I also get spirit messages of what we need to talk about. And tonight we have actually a topic that we're going to be talking about, and then we'll open it up to questions and comments and whatnot. So thank you for joining us, and look forward to seeing your face on our Zoom calls. I'm sure Stacy's putting it in the chats what the Zoom number is in case you want to join us live and have your face there. Yay, there's Anna. I see your face now. It's so much nicer to see your faces. It's really like we're together, but we don't have to worry about cooties, cosmic or otherwise. The first thing we do on the call is to call in what we want on the call, which is truth, we want protection, and we want guidance. There are many forces on this planet, both physical and non-physical, that would love to see humanity continue its struggle and continue the separation, the isolation from self. We are in the journey to reunite with all that we are, so that we can be all that we came to be. And in order to have that happen, we want to recognize truth. We hear all about fake news and fake this and fake that, and truly there's a lot of misinformation going out. For years I've been saying and putting it in all my books, whenever you open yourself to information of any kind, ask to recognize truth, ask to discern truth, ask to be able to incorporate truth into your world, because sometimes truth can be so shocking that we back away from it, and then we don't integrate it into our lives. So recognizing and integrating truth into our world is exceedingly important. Then the protection and guidance, whatever you ask for, you get. So if you add protection and guidance, then you truly are living a charmed life. And the only things that can and will happen to you is that which is for your highest good. So protection, guidance, and truth. I do have a little affirmation that I wrote out and that I say sometimes. I don't feel like saying it tonight, but if you want a copy of it, please email me at heather@heatherharder.com, and I'll be happy to send you a copy, although it's not necessary. The intention carries the power. So as soon as you intend to ask for and protection, guidance, and truth, they're yours. It's that easy. Again, going back to our theme tonight is it's easy. If you're having to struggle or if it's a hard thing to do, it ain't spirit. Spirit makes everything very easy. Humanity has chosen to make things tough because we've been fed a lot of misinformation that unless you're working hard, you're not earning your keep, or fortune comes to those who work hard, and on and on and on. We have all these no pain, no gain kind of cliches that have programmed us for hardship, for challenge, for difficulty. And so tonight I'd like to neutralize all of those, and let's just start again with truth. The next thing that we do on these calls is that we use the light. We're here as light workers. We're here to use the light to support this planet and its evolution. Humanity has free will, the earth doesn't. And so we're here to do as much as we can from choice to service this planet and her evolution. The earth is moving from a third dimensional reality, vibrational frequency, to a fifth dimensional vibrational frequency dimension. And that transition is somewhat challenging for the earth. So we want to use our light and love and our intention to make it easy. It also is lots of fun. And with universal law says, whatever you send out must come back to you. So as we send out love and light to all these different factions, then it comes back to us and we feel enhanced and better for having done it. So it's never a hardship. Again, what you do in service for the universe is easy. It serves you as much as anyone else. If you're struggling or it's intense or it's hard, quit. It's not working. You're not doing it for the universe. You're doing it for the wrong motivation. You're doing it from the wrong space. It's never hard. You don't have to sweat to make it work. So with that intention of light and love and literally sending light and love into the world, we're just going to go to our place of center. Our place of center is that place where we're most aligned with our true self, with the universe, and all of the support that we have in the universe, as well as we're most anchored to the earth and the ground capacity that we have with this earth. We become sort of a tube of light that connects us to the heavens and connects us to the earth. And that connection is what we came to be and do on this planet. We are here to anchor heaven to earth. We're here to be a recycling station so that all of the energies that don't serve the planet can work through us to the heavens and be transmuted and changed. So just agree to let it go, let it be as it moves through us and from us. And it's never a challenge. It's just your imagination. It should be fun and relaxing. So in that place of center, I want you to imagine yourself in this beam of light, in this pillar of light. See yourself as light and see your light expanding. And then see all of the other pillars of light, all the other beings of light that are on the planet and around the planet and in the planet and over the planet. We have so much help in this planet. We just have to open ourselves to receive. But see these pillars of light transforming into these wonderful billows of light. And then see this light merging and becoming one huge light. Light, love, God all carry the same vibration. Whether you're blessing someone or God blessing someone or sending love, sending light, you are playing in the same high intensity energy. And it is real and it is palpable. So just be in this love light energy. You are this love light energy. You are part of the divine. The divine is part of you. We are just remembering and reintegrating ourselves with all that we are. And then as you feel this energy grow and expand, and all of those who are on this planet, around this planet, in this planet, over this planet who are here to support the transition of this planet, we're just going to have them turn up the volume as well, so we become this massive light presence. And then we send this light into the earth, filling every cell in, on, and around this planet with love. Every atom, every subatomic particle becomes infused with this love and light. See it spreading through and around every living creature, every rock and mineral, everything we understand and everything we don't. Just see it all shining in the light. And then I do recommend you take a deep breath periodically and then send this love and light out into the atmosphere. The atmosphere is a very important component of this earth, just like our cell, our skin is a protective covering to our body and plays a very important role. So too does the atmosphere play a very important role on this planet. So just see this love and light that we are surrounding the planet with love, with light. And everyone that's here that loves this planet and its well-being just shares this love and light. We have a lot of beings on this planet who are not coming from love and light. They're coming from self-agenda. They're coming with their own intention. They're not coming for what's good for the earth and all of its inhabitants. They're coming for what's good for themselves. Sometimes they're human, sometimes they're not human. Doesn't matter where they come from. We want to just love them. All those who manipulate, lie, distort, deceive, we're just going to love them. So see this light spreading out. Everything is of God. Both the good and what we call evil are of God. Those who support the transition of the planet and those who don't are all made from the same creator source. We just want to love them. Some let their light shine more than others. And we're just going to love them. And then we're going to send love and light to all those weather patterns on the planet. Just like our body may go through chills and fevers and throw up and diarrhea and all kinds of sweaty, whatever we do to help bring back balance to our body when we have taken in something that causes imbalance. Well, the earth does the same thing, only we call them weather patterns. What we're going to do is just love all the weather patterns and recognize when there is a severe weather pattern, it means the earth is not healthy in that place. The earth is out of balance, and we're just going to love her all the more. On this planet, the mass consciousness is very important and impacts the actions and influence of everyone on the planet. The mass consciousness is the place where all thoughts, actions, and deeds are housed. It's the repository of everyone who's ever been on this planet or ever will be on this planet, because time is not, resides. And so we're just going to love the mass consciousness. Just imagine filling. I see it as a lake, but it can be a cloud. It can be anything you want or nothing. It doesn't matter. But just fill it with love. Fill it with deep appreciation, a deep knowing and wisdom. And anything you put in mass consciousness, feel free to allow it to be filled with love. And then on this planet, we have lots of places where there's fighting, where there's war, where there's hate, where there is competition, where there is degradation. We're just going to love these places. Where there is great pollution, they're all just signs and symptoms of a lower vibration. We're just going to love it and love them who cause it. Just keep loving them. And then what we're going to do is send this love and light to all the leaders on this planet, especially all the businesses and organizations and corporations that are now expanding great influence on humanity. All the media that is twisting and distorting. We're just going to love them. Just send love into, send it into all the radio stations and radio waves and the TV stations and the TV waves and the newspapers. Just imagine all of it being filled with love. All of it. And the corporate officers, the corporate managers who are making decisions, we're just going to love them. Karma will take care of them. We don't need to send hate or violence or evil thoughts. That affects us. They'll get their due. As the Bible says, the wheels of the Lord grind slow, but they grind steady. Our job is just to love them. And the role that they're playing in this great unfolding on the planet, they're serving a purpose. You may not see it, you may not know it, but you need to trust it. Divine plan is perfect. And we're just going to love these people. And right now on the planet, we have lots of political leaders, elected, appointed, or self-chosen, from local level all the way through to federal and international level. And we're just going to love them. Love those who are in office, love those who are trying to get in office, love those who are seeking office. We're just going to fill them all with love. In the United States, we have completed the election in one sense, but it's very much open-ended in the other. So we're going to imagine that now everyone who has voice in this outcome, whether they're in the courts or in the legislators or in various offices, imagine them all being filled with and surrounded with love. And every ballot that's been cast, legally or illegally, we're going to love them and let the truth be known. In the light, nothing can be hidden. It's all going to come out. We have to be strong enough to see it, to witness it, and not judge it. This is part of the great journey. If you judge it, you take yourself back to that level. Our job is just to love it. And as we love it and pour love into those rooms and those offices and those boxes and those ballots and those post office, we literally illuminate truth. So just love it and trust that the outcome that is best for the divine plan will manifest. And that if our job is to do something, to take action, we'll know it. It'll come to us through our heart. We'll feel it in our bones. We'll know it and know what we need to do. Whether it's share information or whether it's march in the streets. Don't do it because someone is telling you to do it. Only do it if your heart is guiding you to do it. The body is the truth teller. The mind is the trickster. The mind is very easily influenced with all the energies and all the misinformation and all of the frequencies that are being projected at us. But the body knows the truth. So just love all the detail, all the unraveling, all the things going on the planet. Everything and everyone who is attempting to manipulate or control humanity will be exposed. Our job is just to love them. We came here to bring heaven to earth. We are not the posse that's here to hang all the wrongdoers. We are not the warriors here to fight and slay the dragons. We're here to love. And in loving, we neutralize their power. We, like in Wizard of Oz, where the Wicked Witch melted with just water, as we send love out, all of those people who are not compatible with the frequency of love will be neutralized. And our job has been done because we're bringing in a vibration to this planet that is sorely needed for its health and for its transformation. You are part of the A team that's here to activate the love vibration that changes this world. And all those who are not compatible with love energy, who cannot bask in its joy, will have to leave the planet. Or they will have to change to be a part of this energy. And our job is done. You're not a light warrior, you're a light being. And all you have to do is be in your truth, be in your love. If you know or have friends and family who are in challenging moments right now, please share the love with them in your heart, and just send love to anyone and everyone who needs it, who wants it, whether they're living or deceased. Doesn't matter. They all exist. If you see images on TV of someone who's starving or in pain or who's fighting or whatever, just love them. They're all learning their lessons. Whatever those lessons are, we just love them. And those who are seeking truth, who are working toward truth in lots of different ways, we're just going to give them a special dollop of love. And be grateful that so many light workers have come to this planet at so many different levels to make a difference. You write a book, yay, but you don't have to write a book. All you have to do is just be. Just love them. And then we give permission to the angels to continue to use our love and light in any way that serves this planet, in any way that serves its people, in any way that we can continue to help this earth. And then universal law says whatever you send out must come back. So open up your heart, open up your mind, open up your cells, and allow yourself to receive. This love is coming back to you, for you, through you. Let yourself receive this love and light. Take a deep breath, anchor the energy. Breathe out, releasing every restriction, every limitation, every false belief that no longer serves you. Again, breathe in, breathing in pure love, pure courage, pure strength, pure wisdom. And breathe out anything that holds you back, anything that keeps you from your full power, your full potential. Breathe in and breathe out. And when you're ready, come back to the here and now Just allowing yourself to let life be easy. When you play with spirit, it is easy. When you're in your truth, it is easy. If you have hard places in your life, that's where you have removed yourself from the divine. Plug back in with the intention of allowing ease. So, welcome to all the people who came while we were in our busy moments. Welcome, 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 welcome. And what time, Michael, what time is it in Australia? Are we going for breakfast or dinner? What time is it?
11:36 a.m.
What time?
11:36 a.m. I was just having a late breakfast.
Okay. Well, I know you were eating, so I didn't know if we were working with breakfast or lunch or dinner or what. So it's just nice to get a perspective. Well, welcome. And welcome to everybody else who's here. And thank you for being a part of that exercise. It gets more powerful every week. Anybody have any reactions or questions based on that experience? Because that's really the most important part of our gathering. We've done our wonderful light play. Comment, and then we're going to go on to some of the things that I've been told to add today. So go ahead, Josie.
Just one. Oh, I'm talking loud. When we were bringing in the light for us, oh my gosh, everything just got so bright in my head. You know, it was like amazing. I could tell it was all here, you know, the light.
You reminded me I don't have my earphones in, so I'm going to plug my earphones in.
Okay.
And I think
I can
right
hear
now,
you much better now.
we're in a special time to where we can actually feel the light so much, because there is so much light being poured into our planet right now.
Well, and also the more we do this exercise, and some of you have been doing it with me for a very long time, you open yourself up more to allow. You have less restrictions. And so as you release and allow more energy in, you are able to send more energy out. You know, so you can only send love to the extent that you can receive love. And in the beginning, some of you were kind of tight-fisted with your love. And now we're much more allowing and enjoying. So bask in the love.
Yeah, I would have problems receiving, but now it's all balanced.
Yeah. Well, what you had trouble receiving,
Yes.
it was also the governing valve for what you could send. It was your maximum output at that moment. But as you open more, you can send more. So congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
And we have a new friend, Mufioso. I'm not sure what their real name is, but
Well, if you say that, I'm not even going to attempt it.
It says, "Thank your mom for me. I felt nice, soothing energy, tingling in my feet, and warmth in my heart chakra."
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that you enjoy that. And even though we only get together once a week, you can continue to do that daily. And, you know, I use my sacred time of going to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, I just intend to send light and love to the earth and everything all over again, and release what doesn't serve me, and then pull in what does. So just by instantly thinking about this experience, you replicate it in your consciousness. So you can be sending light and love to the planet all week long. And then when you come back next week, you're even in the higher place of sending and receiving love.
Yay.
It's
I
so
like that.
easy. I know. Anything else anybody wants to ask or say? Then we'll start playing with what I was given to tell you. As I said earlier in our call, and some of you weren't on the call at that time, we have been fed so much information that if you don't, you know, no pain, no gain. You've got to sweat to make the muscles build. You've got to work hard to reap your rewards. All that is just bully. It's not truth at all. It's not the spiritual way. Spirit things are always easy. If you're struggling with any aspect of your life in any way, it's because you are removing yourself from that divine flow in that experience. Whenever you're connected to spirit, it's I'll go back to the example that's one of my favorite experiences of taking the hot air balloon over the Valley of the Kings in Egypt. The balloon pilots spent a lot of time learning about currents, that they literally raise the balloon to the current that's going in the direction they want to go. They don't ever, ever, ever try to go opposite the current. It would be absolutely foolhardy and maybe even deadly if they try to flow against the current. So they just get in this current and go where they want. If they want to go in a different direction, they just change currents to go in a different direction. It is the most peaceful, most serene experience that you can imagine. And that's sort of how humanity needs to begin thinking about their life. We just need to go with the flow. We need to surrender like those balloons and just go with the current that we're in. If we're asking for protection, if we're asking for guidance, if we're asking for what we want, then we have to trust that the current that's flowing around us is going to take us there. Spirit is always simple and easy. If you have someone telling you you've got 47 steps you got to do and 45 minutes of this you got to do in order to connect with whatever, that's not truth in my world. And you're here to hear my world, so I get to tell you my truth. When we hang up the call, you can do whatever you want and decide for yourself, but I'm going to give you a whole lot of let it be easy, not hard, easy, no struggle, surrender. Surrender doesn't mean give up or quit or run away. Surrender means going with the flow. If you've ever had they do it all over the place, but my last experience was in Austin, Texas, where they have like a little stream river thing, and you rent tubes and you get in the tube and you just flow with the little current. You're in an inner tube and you just float. That's surrender. You're just going with the flow. You're not trying to paddle upstream or go against the tide. You're just flowing with the process. I'm not pouting or angry or fighting it in any way. I'm just going with the flow. Because we have so much energy coming into the planet this month, but it's not going to stop. 2021 is going to be much more intense than 2021. You heard it here. 2021 is going to be more intense than 2020. However, as you change and allow the surrender of the energy that's coming in, it will be cute, Anna. You will become much more comfortable in that flow of energy. As you see the world opening up, as you see the masks being dissolved, as you see humanity again embracing each other, as you see truth win out, those are the visions that you have in this process of allowing it to manifest. It's not that you quit and give up and say, oh my God, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. It's that you use the power that you are in order to create the world that you desire. Yes, Anna. I see your hand, and that's how I call on you. I only know one way.
Okay, so I have a question based on what you're saying, like the world is going to see the truth, but is it only if you ascend or into the 5D, or because I kind of don't understand that part of the ascension and seeing the truth and stuff. Like I know some people are not woke or don't want to see the truth.
All right, stop talking because I'm going to forget what I'm saying. First of all, I appreciate your question, and there's lots and lots of aspects to it. So I'm going to keep it easy and simple and do the spiritual response to that. You don't need to worry about anybody else's path except your own. If you're looking at someone else's path, it's not your business. Pure and simple. So what everybody else does is not your business. It's you. As your vibration raises, as you shift vibrations, and we've said in other discussions that vibration is what allows you to perceive the reality that you're existing in. The third dimension, you see separation. You see the corners. I mean, this pin has a beginning and end. It's the
Mm-hmm.
matter that we focus on. But as we move up through fourth dimension, which is a search dimension, that's where you begin to be clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient. You begin to know things that can't be known, that you think, oh my God, I'm losing my mind because I'm hearing voices, I'm knowing things, it's the crazy place. And then as you come through that, you go, oh, I get it. We're all one. We no longer focus on the separation or the differences. We begin to assimilate the similarities. We begin to recognize that what I do affects you, and that what Michael does in Australia affects us. That we're all part of the same vibrational oneness that we call humanity, and that love is that vibrational glue that holds us together. I'm getting chills from head to toe. Chills for me are the way my soul, spirit, God says, keep going, this is important. So if you're getting chills, it's saying this is important to you, so pay special attention. But if someone else is someplace else, and nowhere is this more evident than on Facebook, and I bless Facebook. I don't play on it very long. I usually go and dump something and get off real quick because I don't want to be contaminated with it. Vibrationally, it's a very, very challenging place for me to be, and I keep it easy. I don't like what's being said. I don't play there. Isn't that easy? I don't like the news. I don't watch it. So easy. We just cut out the things that cause us discomfort. And as you do that, your life gets more and more simple. I haven't had TV for over 5 years. I haven't missed it for a minute. If it's important, there's going to be a YouTube about it and someone's going to send it to me. They always do. I don't need to worry about what I'm missing because I know what I'm getting. As we move into this oneness, we are able to see from a different perspective. And the analogy I've used with that is climbing a tree. If we're laying on the ground, we see grass one way. But as we climb the tree and are in different branches, and we continue to increase our elevation, we see a different perspective. We see a bigger game. And this year, 2021, I'm already saying 2020 is gone. As I said, 2020 has been the hardest 10 years of my life. So that's gone. We're moving into easy. We can make it be as easy as we want, and we begin to see things. It's going to be startling. It's going to be, we're seeing it some, if you're following in the results of the election, the corruption, the greed, the distortion, the lies, it's coming out in such huge numbers. And then they go to court and court says, no evidence. What do you mean evidence? I just heard 20 people give affidavits. But if you get involved in that energetic fight with it, that's when your life becomes challenging. We just love them. That's our job. Just love them. Someone's pissing you off, love them, because they're still at the ground level looking at the grass and saying, the grass is this. You're up here saying, no, the grass is this. Not your business. They get to see life the way they want. You get to see life the way you want. If you're trying to work out someone to agree with you, ain't going to happen. They can't see it from that perspective because they're not there. You can't see it from their level because you're not there. You just have to trust that everybody is where they need to be. Everybody is where they are designed to be. And you stay minding your own business. You stay with what's important to you, what your truth is. And if someone rings your bell, pushes your button, what do?
Love them.
We love them. That's easy. Not to alter them, not to control or manipulate them, but just to give them love. That's our job. We're just little love bugs. And so once we send the love out, we've done everything that we came to do. And that's the important thing. I've also used the example of all of us wearing different glasses. These are my love glasses. When I put them on, I see everything with a red cast. That's my love. If I look through the world in my love glasses, I see love. But if someone else looks through the world with their distorted glasses, these are the blue distorted glasses, they see everything as blue. Who's right? Who's wrong? We both are, because we're looking through different glasses, and that's okay. You're not here to convince everybody else how wrong they are. They're not here. That's called control and manipulation, and that brings big karmic consequences. You don't want to do that. You just honor them where they are, respect their journey, and let the world take care of them. And then you respect yours. But this year, as we see more and more corruption being exposed, we might find out that our next door neighbor is a head of a pedophile ring, that your top employee has been stealing from you. You're going to find out all kinds of stuff this year that you have to be prepared to receive. Truth is not necessarily easy to hear and to experience. So you have to be willing and open to truth. What do you do with it? What do you do with them? Love them. And trust that the courts or the world will take care of them. Now, again, what I call my cosmic condom, my bubble of light, that's my visual for my protection. And then my guidance system is always in place. So it's not like you just operate in the world without any kind of safety net, but it isn't about controlling the world, because this year, 2021, lots of stuff are going to be exposed that are going to shock and appall you. Your desired reaction is love it, love them. And the more you can move to that, the easier it'll become for you.
I'm so ready for that to be over.
It ain't, no, this, I said at the beginning of this stuff, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
It's crazy.
No, it's only crazy if you judge it. If you judge it crazy, yes.
Right. You're right. You're right.
If you had been alive, and probably were, at 1900, when airplanes were non-existent, and you saw people talking to other people across the airwaves and seeing them, and if you saw planes flying through the air that weren't live, you would have said, that's crazy. We're moving into another level of crazy, and you got to be ready for even a bigger level of crazy, because our cosmic cousins want to be known on this planet, but they won't as long as humanity moves into fear or moves into subservience, saying, oh, you're so smart, and fall on their knees and worship them. We have to recognize and stand as equals to all of these beings, and then we can have open support, open contact, open relationships. I saw your hand go up, Christina.
I have a question. Hi.
Hi.
So our cosmic cousins, do they look like us or no?
All right, hold on a second. I want to say that when I'm listening to someone's questions, I often close my eyes, and it's because I'm taking in the vibration of what's being said along with the words. So be aware if I'm doing that. It's not that I'm ignoring you. Okay. As I said at one of our discussions, we have 51 or 53 different kinds of alien life form here on the planet right now. Some look like us, some don't. Some can project. We've all seen con men or narcissists who can project the most loving, kind images, and they're really little slithering, not very nice people on the inside. That projection of an image is basically what some aliens can do. They can have you see whatever's that they will let them interact with you the way it works. there's a zillion books on miracles, the miracle of angel miracles and life miracles and little miracles and big miracles and stuff. And with a million stories about how they picked up a hitchhiker and the hitchhiker told them all about their life and what they need to be doing and da, 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 and then they let the hitchhiker out and the hitchhiker disappeared. And they looked around and in the instant that person was gone. A friend of mine was in a car accident. She lives in Topanga Canyon. And if you've ever been there in California, it's this windy road that goes up this mountain and it's very sharp things. And she was behind a big old delivery truck, like a whatever. And she could see this truck lose its ability to keep going forward. It started rolling back. And as she saw this truck coming back at her, she's behind it. She's trying to back up and she's not successful. This truck literally smashes her car. It made international news. It was smashed so flat. Probably, this has been years ago, but it might even be still somewhere on the internet history place. But anyway, as she said, as it was coming down, and she was a very spiritual person, love her. But as the thing was coming down, she could just feel herself being brought down to like this little pancake. And then when the truck stopped, it literally smashed her car. And then she said this little man with a brown derby opens her door and says, "Get out." And so she says she just literally slithered out. Well, when the police and the firemen and all those things got there and they see her standing unharmed next to this completely smashed car, they asked, "How did you do that?" She goes, "Well, the guy just let me out and there was no guy." She says they treated her like she was some sort of alien life form herself. But she said this guy was there. He opened the door. She got out and then he just disappeared. She didn't see him disappear. He just disappeared. And so we have lots of encounters like that. And you just have to be open to it. But we have so many help, so many ways that we get support. And whether you call those angels or aliens, it doesn't matter. They're just not human beings or birthed in the traditional way, if that makes sense. But we want to put people in categories, and we don't have categories for all the categories we have on the planet.
I had an experience. Can I ask you about it? I'll make it short.
Oh,
Or
first
not.
let's see if anybody else has a question.
Oh, sure. Of course.
Anybody else have a question with that? Going once? Okay. So go ahead, ask your question.
So I flipped my car off the highway once, and it was completely, I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. I hit a guardrail, flipped it down a hill. It was completely crushed. And the whole way down, I felt something holding me. And I felt like a piece that does not exist on this earth. Like it was just a piece. And I felt something holding me. Now, are those alien beings?
Well, again, we have a need to label and categorize, whether it's your guardian angel or your angels or the universe or Jesus. I mean, there's a country western song about Jesus take the wheel, and she's pretty much the same kind of thing. She's in this car accident and says, "Jesus take the wheel," and she gets through it. And that was based on this, one of her life experiences. It doesn't matter. They're just not. They're not of this world as we recognize of this world, but they're there for us whenever we want or need it. I recently as several months ago, had a weird experience. I got a really good deal on a big Dodge Caravan. I would never buy a Dodge Caravan. It's too big for me, but I got a really good deal. And when you open the door, my arm isn't long enough to hold the door. So it sort of pulls me out as I'm doing it. I stop in a driveway that's on an angle. I have a friend. I forget to put it in park. So as this door swings open, I'm looking at the ground and seeing the ground move under me and thinking, uh-oh, it shouldn't be moving. What's going on? And it pulls me out of the car. I run over myself. And so as and I get a concussion and other kinds of things, and the door sort of shovels me down the road. But as I'm being pulled out, it's like, okay, God, take over. And so I tumble and rumble, and anyway, go to the emergency room and take care of it. No broken bones or anything, but I did have a concussion. And that in the 2 weeks following my thing, 2 other people ran over themselves and they both died. So was that my lucky break? Was that the support when I asked God to help me, or what was it? I don't know. I'm just real happy that it turned out the way it did. And so that's my send love, be grateful. The 2 things are important, but those stories are collected by many producers and they put together shows, and so you might want to seek the show because that's a good one, a good story for it.
2 things. One is one of our friends on IG said they saw 3 spirits with you in the vehicle when you were telling your story, or 3 entities, I should say.
Okay, are you talking about me story or Christina's story?
Her car. I don't know. In her
Well,
car.
ask for clarification.
Okay. Well, you just asked because they can hear you.
Okay.
I'll wait for that.
Clarification.
I just want to say this too, because Soulful Intimacy said, I find myself wanting to save the world. Laugh out loud. I was definitely guided to hear your words today. I just needed to let go and allow with love. Thank you so very much for this message with prayer hands. One prayer hand. It's always perfect. One thing.
Let me finish. Respond to that. Then we can come back to you. First of all, that's a real common ailment, and I'm going to call it an ailment with light workers. I got to do it all. It's sitting on my shoulders. If I don't do it, it won't get done. Oh my God, poor me. I got to save the world. Baloney. That's not the case. That's not the way it works. You're here to be a beacon of love and do whatever little job you're given. One of the most spiritual beings that I know, and for many years I didn't see her doing spiritual work until I got smarter, but she was a toll booth taker. You know, she worked at a toll booth. She took people's money and she gave them change. And you think, well, that's pretty routine job. Doesn't sound very spiritual. Yeah. And so, but literally, before I knew her, there was a full page article written in the newspaper about her. And she was like, Section B, full page about the toll booth angel and all the people that she'd helped and all the ways she'd made a difference to people's lives being a toll booth agent. And to me, that was phenomenal. And then spiritually, I was told about how she was, and with every customer, she was pulling in an energy, doing an energy read on them for the universe, and then giving them back an energy feed. So they were being energetically impacted with each time they went to her booth. And I'm thinking, a toll booth angel, a toll booth taker is doing her spiritual assignment. You know, we have to look at this whole, my mission, because you'd never think about your mission to be a toll booth taker, but is completely overdone. And I think it's a lot of people who want to sell books about your purpose and you're this and you're that. Just trust that today I'm breathing. If I'm breathing out love, I'm doing my job. I'm doing all that I came to do. And your job is not to save the planet. It is to be a beacon of light so that others may see that light and choose light. So thank you to whoever's out there not feeling like they need to save the world anymore. Okay, now Stacy, what other thing do you want to go to?
I kind of wanted to comment on that too, because I am definitely that person who I call my mom all the time and just like, I get really caught up because I want us all to be happy. I want us, and she's like, we're talking about the vaccines or what, I shouldn't say those words, but of course mom's like, well, how do you know you're right or wrong? Like, and I'm like, well, because we should have a choice. That's right. Like it should be this, or making them responsible for their own side effects and making, you know what I mean? Like that's to me is the right thing of action. If you're going to put something out, you should be responsible for it. Like basic, for me, common sense, but it definitely puts me back in that, that fighter / just trusting what is. And so I think for me, when we're going through this, I find this happens also in layers. Like, oh yeah, we do know this. So it's like, okay, then you kind of go back and then like the next layer of it and then the next layer of it until we can, because I am feeding the duality. So I'm not really serving my truth or my beliefs, I'm actually feeding the fear. I'm feeding the other stuff. So I do feel it's extra important, especially because of all that's going on. Yes, follow your heart. If you're guided to say something, if you're guided to get in a conversation, if it's just like it's in you, that's our gift. That's what we're supposed to be doing. But there's times where I'm like, "Ugh," and I'm like, do not engage. You know what I mean? I get guided. And so I think it's important for you to also tap into that and follow that. But one of my things that I've got through mom also is the main thing is come back to truth. If you can both agree to know truth, to me, you're disengaging the fear tactics. And if they can agree and they're very watch the news, this is the truth, this is the things, and we already know that's their level of truth, but that's not the truth.
That you are coming across right now like you're judging their truth.
Okay,
Like,
but
I'm they're not at that right level. You have to just respect wherever they are as perfect for them in that moment, not judge them being less than because they're at a lower level of truth. That's where it's going to come back to haunt you and get karmic
right. I've been
consequences.
there. It's not a judgment. At least it's not intended to be a judgment at all. I understand that. I was part of that, so I can totally have compassion for that. But when you are able to see the different things, it's the view changes. If you're in an airplane, the city of Los Angeles looks very different than you're on the corner of a street or in the corner of a neighborhood. So it's just, to me, the viewpoint changes, so you're able to see different things.
Absolutely.
But what I was saying is that if you can both get to that higher level of consciousness, and even if they are where they are, if you can get them to agree to know truth, to me, it allows that gate of their team, of their universe, of their whatever subconscious, it allows them to actually be able to shift if they so choose. If you can get them to
if they so choose, yes.
If you can get them to know truth, it literally is like a magic window that at least they now have the opportunity to be able to see truth. And I'll tell you what, most all of us, if we have a parent telling us what to do, blah, 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 do we want to do it? No. It's like the last thing we want to do.
Except if you're my child.
Yeah. And for those of you that are new, mom is Heather. This is my mom. I'm her daughter and I'm her baby. But yes, so we have a little mother-daughter dynamics. But going back to that is we don't know where they're supposed to be and when they're supposed to be. We only know ourselves. So if we can get to the consciousness of going like above the duality, above the fighting, and just agree to know truth, it literally can shift their world easily, gracefully. Again, we're not responsible for it, but if they're allowing themselves, I choose to know truth. And as soon as they do that, it's just like us, like you had this thing and here you are listening to this message that you basically called in at some level, right? And so it allows the gifts of unfoldment to happen, and yet you're not engaging in the negative side effects and that karmic. It's the beauty of allowing people to be exactly where they need to be, just like Jesus would say, forgive them for they know no difference. Like it's, or whatever. I'm not a Bible reader, but yeah, I just thought that was real important, that it's about, if we can get that shift to go into knowing truth.
Well, it's also about respecting everyone else, no matter where they are and what they're doing and what they believe. If I respect someone's life options, then I don't need to worry about truth or not truth. I just need to respect where they are when they're there. And that's important. And it's not about someone else respecting my choice. It's about me respecting other people's choice. And what will happen is over time, those people who are sort of unpleasant will just sort of fall out of your world. 2021 is going to be a big casting away of people, some people in your life where it just no longer fits. Yeah. It no longer feels comfortable letting those people go as you allow yourself to move into where you need to be and trust you are where you need to be. And they're where they are. If you read my book, Garrett Stacy, cue up the book, Exploring Life's Last Frontier.
Okay. Exploring.
Cue up the book.
Exploring life's lost frontier, the world of death, dying, and letting go by Dr. Heather Harter.
Thank you, Stacy.
Yeah.
One of the things I say in there is that there's the longest lines are for what we would see as disabled bodies or minds or existences. A handicapped body is more desirable than a fully functioning body, a spirit, because it's like a golf handicap. When you're good at golf, they give you handicaps. It's like tying one hand behind your back, or the rodeo riders who only can use one hand to hold on to this bunking bronco. We like to make things challenging for ourselves. And so when people come into Earth, having a disabled body or disabled mind actually increases certain lessons that you get, and it's very desirable. So it may be, and I'm not saying this is, but it's certainly possible that some of the damage that may be caused by faulty pharma is desirable by certain souls. Nothing can happen to a child up to the age of 13 without their prior consent coming into this world. Nothing. From 13 on, you are dealing with the consequences of your actions. You are manifesting whatever your life is. So this all could be part of our awakening, and not as something that we want to run away and avoid. We have to trust the divine plan. If you read my book, Many Were Called.
Many
Ta-da!
were chosen. The story of Mother Earth and Earth-based volunteers. This is also on my YouTube channel, Stacy Harter. I read it chapter by chapter. It's powerful.
And if you read that book, one of my refrains pretty much in every chapter is divine plan is perfect. It's always perfect. And so the divine plan that's manifesting on the planet right now is perfect. And we have to just be in that trust for what's going on. And when we're in that trust, our need to fight it, to stamp it out, to resist it, to do all those things relaxes. We surrender to the experience. We make it easy. We aren't struggling against the process. And remember, when you're where you focus your energy, it is empowered. It is manifested. So the more you struggle against something, the more you actually empowering it. So just surrender that right now is unusual times and you're here for a reason. Any other questions?
Well, and powerful thing that you also mentioned to me before, because I call my mom and usually I'm upset or I'm processing, and I like to get other opinions and advice because it's a lot easier for other people to see. But one of the things you taught me, because I was not a fan of Mr. Bill, and I was, of course, not the most loving in my words and how
Mr. Bill?
Mr. If you have a fence, there is a gate that opens. Just because they've been banning all kinds of words, so I'm just watching my words. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Rhymes with mates.
Okay.
I know, but you don't understand it. It's just stuff there's a lot of people that's going on right now, so I'm just blessing it.
Well,
so
get a little chalkboard and write it out. So yes, I know what you're talking about. Continue on, but you're confusing.
I was very annoyed and challenged with the man, and I love when you're like, we don't know the grand scale. Like maybe he is the one that will come out and say all these people are in this line, and you know this is what's happening, this is what's going down, and name everybody and have all the evidence and have all that stuff. Yes, there you go. And so just trusting the process. And for me, I was like, that's so true. What if some of the inside people within this actually come out with all the evidence and come out with the things, and then it's very easy to know truth. But anyways, I think that is going into trust is so important, and I am learning to do that. And I also I got the answer to your question about who she saw. I don't know if it's a she or he actually. But that says divine intervention, and it was Christina's story. And then they said, I see only one very powerful spiritual being that looks like a male wearing a silver chest plate, an archangel, and your mom's accident. I see him on the right side of the car, swinging his arms and somehow pulling this energy in a flash from the inside of the car and an arch from the left side of the car through the car to the right side. So
Well, I'm very impressed that you can see so much, because in the moment, all I saw was moving ground below me going, oh shit, this isn't supposed to be happening. So,
to the right side, just past the front passenger door.
Wait, what was the beginning part? What? There's two parts to this, yeah?
So
you had 3 people in your car that was helping you during your flipping, and then I had one, and mine was a big dude off to the right. You had 3 others.
Cool.
And I'm just saying that I'm very impressed this person can see so much.
I know. Tell them thank you so much.
The mister.
Yeah, mister.
I know.
Lord help the mister that comes between me and my sister. Okay. Anyway, so for each of you, starting from this moment for eternity, create your own affirmations, create your own intentions to make things easy, smooth, surrender, let go, float on the raft, float in the air, however you want to envision it. But when you feel yourself moving into struggle or hard or challenge, give yourself, a trigger to move back into easy, surrender. The opposite of trust is that doubt and worry. What you think about becomes your reality. If you do that doubt and worry and fear and all those things, that's what you're creating, more challenge for yourself. Move into trust. So Heather says it's all perfect, so it's all perfect. Heather wouldn't lie to me. It's all perfect. It's just easy, and just allow yourself to move into that easy. There's a song. Oh, first of all, I'm going to do one of the other things. I tested out today, and it worked wonderfully for me. You may or may not know Steve Halpern. I get no commission. I don't get any affiliate or anything, but actually I do have an affiliate through Amazon, but I don't use it. Anyway, this is a album that Steve Halpern did on, it's sound healing, and it's the 432 hertz, which is the original earth vibration. Because I'm very energy sensitive, I've been feeling a lot of chaotic energy around me. So today I thought, well, I'll just try playing this. And so I've been playing it in the background all day long. It's just, and it's so quiet that you can't hear it if you're more than a foot away from the sound source. And so it's not about loud, it's not overpowering, it's just the vibration. The vibration doesn't have to be heard with your ears, it is felt with your body. But I found it has ironed out a lot of the chaotic energy that was coming in. So you may or may not want to play with it and just see, but make sure it's at the 432. I trust Steve Halpern, and so recognize. But
ironically, that's not a course for ironic. I just sent you a video before we started that came up on my YouTube of David Icke and a couple people, but talking about music that we listen to in the programming, how in history it's been changed to things, but say it with love and light, follow your own heart, but how all the music that we listen to on the radio and those kind of things have those frequencies built in. So it's super important that you ask for protection and guidance and to know truth. And I suggest same kind of thing. Make sure you're going with artists that you know are integral.
And trust.
Yes.
I did it, and I do experiments. I mean, I get spiritual guidance and I test it out. Just because some dead person tells me something doesn't mean I'm going to accept it wholeheartedly. And so I've been playing with different vibrations and whatnot. And last night, because the earth energies are speeding up, I put on a vibration that was much higher. And I put it on when I was laying in bed reading. And I have 2 dogs that sleep with me. And all of a sudden, those dogs are up and moving. And I mean, I could feel this agitation, this activation kind of thing with them. I thought, okay, not that one. So do test it out, but more than anything, trust yourself. Someone else may say this is good for you, but if it doesn't feel good for you in your heart, don't do it. But when we look at easy, it's easy for me to put a background music on, and it's actually playing right now on my computer as background noise to this, but it's so light you can't hear it. It's not about hearing the music.
Your name, Steve, what?
This is Steve Halpern.
How do you spell that?
He's old. Halpern. Halpern.
Okay.
Let's see. Steve Halpern. I don't know if you can read it right if it's backwards for me. And it's sound healing.
It's
or
perfect.
32. Yeah, but it's been very, very powerful today, just bouncing out. Because when I start getting in a project, and I'm finishing up a book project right now, so I tend to get an intensity. Like I want to get it faster, 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 faster. And then yesterday and today, my computer was in the shop along with my cell phone. And so I'm going through this major withdrawal with both of thing of being gone. So I needed sort of to calm me down and make it easy. And it worked beautifully for me. So with that, the next thing, Stacy,
Yeah.
I'm going
Hey,
to
real
get.
quick, just another thing. I love that someone put on the comment that as she's felt herself level up, she hasn't been able to listen to music since October, and she didn't even turn on the radio in the car. She's not complaining, but the music doesn't move me like it used to. And it's the same thing. I used to listen to YouTube music meditation at night when I slept for different things because it's really cool. Like, why wouldn't I want to track love? Why wouldn't I want to track the button? And so I used to love listening to those things, and now I have a big red flag. Like, I love YouTube, but knowing their censorship and all those kind of things, I don't trust listening to those things, especially while you're sleeping or in meditative states. So bless, ask for your own truth.
And we just love it. Imagine putting love through all of the YouTube things and all of the Facebook things and all of the Twitter things. And just, I mean, again, that's where you just can go hog crazy with your love. There's no downside. Just love it. If something doesn't feel good in your body, love it and send love through it and to it. All right. Ready? Did anybody else have a question? And I'm going to go to my screen and show you something.
No, but they said Halpern is helping. I thought that was funny.
Yes, and I really like Steve Halpern's music. I've known him for a zillion years. But he's, according to his bio, he's been a Grammy nomination. He dated a friend of mine, and he's gotten lots and lots and lots of things out. So he's not someone who's scrambling for his dollar and is willing to tell you anything. So,
Mom, real quick, will you just remind people that when we're processing these new energies and new things, listen to your body and
it's
how
the same thing. Don't resist it. Just breathe into it, allow it, relax in it. If you can imagine being in a nice, soft, gentle rain, a nice, warm, misty, moorish rain, you would just feel good. We just relax into that experience, and that's what we need to do. Stacy's one that's calling and saying, oh, there's going to be this kind of energy coming in and that kind of thing coming in. Doesn't matter. I don't need to know about the details and all the frequencies and the hertz and what it's going to do. I just move into it. I don't need to fill my brain with all the facts because my body and heart is filled with the truth. And so I just surrender to the experience. And then if I'm feeling tired, I sleep. If I'm feeling hungry, I eat. If I'm feeling wide awake and ready to be productive, I work. It's a very easy life. You don't have to sort of try and mentally engage with everything that's going on. And I find that a lot of Stacy sends me tons and tons of videos and YouTubes about different things from different teachers, and I listen to a few minutes to feel the energy, and it's like, okay, thank you. But there's so much that's activating the mind. The mind is not going to get us to where we need to go. And if they're giving you all this stuff, these rules and these regulations and what is going on and what's happening and all this stuff, it's activating the mind. That is not the best way to process the energy. The best way to process the energy is going to be through your body, which is your heart. So just relax and go into it. If you feel like watching a video, do. But if you find yourself getting into that addiction state where I have to know what's being said now. I have to know what's going on. I have to know all these things. Then it's not serving you. You move from healthy into unhealthy.
And I'm a perfect person that I definitely process a lot of energy when I'm sleeping.
And you're also that person that goes on the emotional roller coaster, you know, oh, this is happening, and oh, that's happening, and oh, this is happening, and I'm, you know, and you're always up and down.
I know, but I also, like, it's true. Even today, getting my alkaline water, like, I get a text from my phone asking me if I want to join in and letting me know when I've been COVID exposed. And it's like, I never asked anything, and I get caught up in.
And so recognize that roller coaster is of your making. And so you want whatever's causing you to go up isn't any better for you than what's causing you to go down. You want to be in that state of peace.
Yeah.
And that state of peace is your natural state. Think about when you go into center with our little exercises, how comfortable it feels. It's not this clap your hands, you know, stamp your feet, yay. It's just this whole surrender to this place of serenity. That's when you're plugged into spirit. That's when you're plugged into the universe. And I call sort of the divinity of all that is spirit. It's how I've been introduced and use words. So when you're with spirit, you're in that place of divine peace. When you're in mental, it's, I want to know when it happened, how it happened, where it happened, who happened it, what's going on. This person's doing to talk about it, and they're talking about with this person. I got to, and so if you're into that chain, that's going to cause you into that up and down. And so you just want to plug away from everything that's taking you into those extremes, and whatever's causing you to move into this, send them love, and just being totally at peace with the process. You want to continue and do more of.
Yeah,
okay.
And I love our little friend said, if you resist, it's like tar. It gets stuck to you, and if you allow it to pass, it's like rain. It washes off your body. And I think that's the same way too. Like when we put judgments, expectations, or attachments, that's like the tar. So it's like we get it pulled into us for our experiences, and that's when we have all the karmic. So the more we can live without the judgment, without the expectations, without the attachments, the more we can be in the flow and not have to pull in the karmic stuff.
Okay, I saw Christina's hand go up, so let's talk about Christine right now. Okay. Christine, your hand went up.
Christina.
Christina.
I just wanted to say I've been living in that place recently. I don't care about the details anymore. I'm not looking into politics. I'm literally in my own little bubble, and it's not being affected by anything, any other people, the mess, like it's just not my world at all. And I looked up yesterday and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my little world, and it's just quiet and drama free, and it's not affecting me. And I'm just not doing that anymore. And it shows.
And that's your choice. You are master of your universe. And then as everybody moves into that same space, those universes combine, and pretty soon we have it throughout the planet. And those that don't want to have it, don't. A friend, when I was doing workshops in Texas, I went and got my nails done. And there was this little Vietnamese gal, and this is quite a few years ago, was doing my nails, and I asked her what it was like to be in Vietnam during the war. And she goes, well, Heather, it's a lot like your drug war, that it's going on. There are people being affected by it, even killed by it, but it probably isn't affecting your world. And she says, the Vietnam War was going on, but it wasn't in my world. And I thought, man, what a powerful analogy, that it isn't about what's going on in the world. Media puts it in your face, but it isn't about that. It's what's going on in your world. And it's the more we can recognize that we're responsible for our little corner of the universe and make it a place where everybody wants to come and sit because it feels so good, then the more we are doing what we came to do. You know, whether it's, you know, coming into your shop or coming into other places, it's about being in that love bubble. And it's very powerful. Yes, Jennifer. And you can raise your hand electronically if you're talented, or raise your fingers, because that's the kind of I recognize. So go ahead, Jennifer.
So I feel the opposite of Christina. I've
Oh.
lived in a bubble my whole life, but now I feel called to be an activist. And that's not like me at all. But I am like going through all these videos because this is history to me and I'm living through it and I want to be able to tell my grandchildren what was going on. So I'm like in it. And I love it though.
But
I
and two things there. You're being called. It's not someone telling you. And it feels good. That's the other cue. If it wasn't right for you, you'd be going, oh, hell no, this ain't right. You know, and you would be in a completely different space. So you trust that it's an internal calling and it's right for you because it feels good.
But then when you say easy, now I could go into a bubble and that is easy. So
But what you say in this place is show me, you know, when you're getting all this information and you're feeling like you need to take action, you still keep it easy. So go, tell me what I need to do. What's my role in this? How do I help the situation? So you're still just going with your internal flow, and you may be getting, you know, send a postcard, send a letter, I actually am getting called to send a letter to Mr. Trump in the White House. And thank him for what he's doing and thank him for what he's gone through and what he continues to go through. And so that will be an action I take, not because someone else told me to do it, but because that's what I'm feeling called to do. And so what you're doing is still doing the easy path. I'm doing what I feels right for me in the moment. That is surrender. That is taking that easy path. You're not out trying to figure out what you need to do and get everybody else doing what you're needing to do. You're just doing what you need to do. When I ran for president, obviously you need a lot of volunteers to do it when you don't have the money. And so my whole campaign was through volunteers, but I didn't recruit them. I just told my story and they'd say, can I help? Can I help? And we had way many people who just gave up their lives, and they would come to work in the campaign headquarters or travel with us or set up things in their state. I mean, it was all volunteers that I didn't have to say, you need to do this. This is really important for all of us. They just felt the call themselves. And I'm deeply appreciative. And many of them, I'm ashamed to say, I don't even know who they were. I don't have their names because I was totally in overload with all that I was doing. So I just know that when I got to places, things happened and it all worked out perfectly. But I didn't have to try and convert people. I didn't have to make people believe what I believe. I just told my story, and those that felt the call followed, and those that didn't.
And I love that too, because it's such another huge lesson, and asking for what you want, guidance, truth, guide me, show me. And I think that's a perfect example of how people just naturally will come into your life. Like today, before we started as well, I am I have like a few people I'll listen to on YouTube, but I got a random thing on the FDA live vote. And I was like, what? Like this came up in my home. So I was like, let me click on this. And I was like, of course. And I got chills because I was like, I'm here to send them love. I would have never searched FDA anything. And it was a live broadcast of a meeting with different doctors as they were getting ready to vote on something. And I knew, I was standing there and I literally got chills. I was like, I'm here to send love. And that's why it came up into my meeting. And that's why it came up is like, no matter what they're doing, what they're saying, I have to just send love. And I literally like asked God, asked the angels, asked all the light beings to help just send love. And so I think that's also a perfect moment that if things come into you, it's not by accident, that maybe it's coming into you just to be able to send and be the love. But I can't send love to expectations that they'll vote differently. I have to just trust it's all the divine plan. I can only just do as mom's teaching.
You can ask the divine plan be manifest. It isn't about your plan, it's a divine plan. So you can ask the divine plan to be manifest. You can also ask that karma be speed up, that whatever's going on, that karma happens. So these people, you know, recognize whatever the lessons are. You're not asking for punishment. You're just on the timeline for what's going on the planet. because that's universal law. Okay, any other questions or thoughts? Because one more thing I want to do.
Okay.
Any other questions on or offline? Our etheric friends?
Just being an activist is what you need on your journey to move to the next level, whatever that is for you. There are endless paths that lead to the same destination. We're moving to the same destination, just following our own unique paths. That was
There's
great.
some wise people out there on that online group.
This is Mufiaso, our male friend. I'm assuming he's Italian. Mufiaso. I think he found me yesterday.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have a question? Electronically or otherwise? All right, I've got two things I want to show to you, because as we talked about music and the power of music, and singing is one of the ways we can raise our vibration. We have to be very mindful of the lyrics that we're saying, that it can also be getting us in trouble as well. And so obviously the song Let It Be came to mind. The Beatles made it famous. It was written by, I think John, but he had a dream, and actually this was all truth. And then he wrote the song and it became a worldwide hit. Okay, let me finish my statement and I'll come back to you, Michael. So I've learned how to share my screen. So we're going to go first to the lyrics, and we're just going to read through the lyrics. Then we're going to go to YouTube. And then I would like you, and you don't have to sing it out loud. You can still be on mute if you want, but I would like you just to say the words. And then this is a great song. When you get to that place where life is challenging, to just move into let it be, let it be. And when I was teaching Head Start gazillion years ago, the kids asked me not to sing with them because I screw them up. So I do not sing well. So when we're singing, I'm going to be mouthing. I won't screw you up, but it is, I do sing all the time. I just don't worry about being on key. I just do what the Bible says is joyful noise, and I'm good with that. Michael, you have a question?
Oh, I just want to say, I believe I found in the past that that particular song, it was in, I think, the original frequency, the Hertz frequency from
Could be.
creation or something.
And
yeah, it's a very important frequency, and that it was particularly chosen.
Again, I just know how it makes me feel. That's what I go by. It feels good to me, so I share it with my friends. So Stacy, if you would like to put me on share my screen, we're going to look at the words to it.
You should be able to already.
Oh, do I have to do that?
Yeah, I can't do it for you. You just hit the share screen in the bottom, and then you pick out which screen you want to share.
Oh, that's so easy. Let it be easy.
Mafioso. Apparently, I'm not saying it
Okay.
right.
So this is the words to the song. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there's still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Yea, there will be an answer, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy and there is still a light, it says more. Oh, well, weird. I didn't get the more.
Nope.
But you get the idea. Let it be. So now we're going to go to, how do I go? I have to close this one, stop share.
And then as you're figuring that out, I just want to also point out that that story of that song, Lennon actually had a dream, and his mother was named Mary. And so his mom came to him in a dream after, I believe she passed when he was much younger. I don't remember the details, but she came to him in the dream saying these words to him, like, just let it be. And so he wrote the song based off of his dream with her.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. Did you know that?
So, yep. I just,
I didn't know
Okay,
that.
now I'm
Is that
going to. Okay, I'm working at the whole thing.
remember you're playing, Mom. Gotta watch your
I know,
words.
I
You're
know.
playing, creating,
Okay.
allowing, easing grace.
Okay.
What's the words of wisdom?
Okay, I can't. And this is just a simple. Can you see my screen? No.
Nope.
Okay, I don't know how to get to that screen. So I'm going to play it and then hopefully you guys can hear it. I'm going to unplug my earphones. And so
Let it be. Love exposes truth and inspires transformation and beautiful experiences. Very true.
okay, let's see if it works.
Let it be. Let it be. Expose of wisdom. Let it be. No, not working.
Are you talking to me, Stacy?
Nope, I think I think it's just not meant to be listened to.
Are you hearing it?
I'm hearing more sounds like Smurfs and weird sounds, not the song.
Okay.
I don't know how you describe the sound, but it definitely doesn't sound like the song.
All right. Well, it was a good effort anyway.
What, Jen?
Will it change in mute, maybe?
No, because if it,
Am I back now normal?
yes.
Okay. Well, and see, that's an example. If it doesn't work, just don't fight it. Just surrender. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be.
Also a lot of trademarks, so if we were to put that video out, so just stress.
Anyway, but it's a great motto. It's and just singing the little clips can be very helpful. Jennifer, did you have a question?
No, it's just beautiful. The song, the lyrics and everything.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And it is about just letting it be and imagining an angel just being there saying, let it be. Let it be. The world is not on your shoulders. Just do what you can do and it's enough. I think that's the important part. Just the world is not on your shoulders. Just do what you can do and that is enough. Stacey, you're reading something. Anything there you want to share?
That they didn't know that about Lennon's mother, so thank you for sharing that. And then we can also find it on YouTube and hum along. So after, if you feel inclined.
Yes, your homework assignment is to go to YouTube, and they actually have a version with the Beatles singing it, and it's best. But the lyrics weren't as clear, so I chose that one. But I listened to it about 14 times by different different singers and stuff. So, Michael.
Powerful.
I put in the comments, but I believe the song was singing with the frequency was John Lennon's "Imagine," which is kind of
Imagine.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that had the frequency.
And that's another song. A lot of
Yeah.
the Beatles songs are
Similar.
just absolutely incredible. And if you're good at downloading, you can literally make yourself a little CD of these very uplifting songs. And you don't have to play them loud. It's not about bombarding or assaulting your ears. Just having it so that if you're literally a foot away from your computer, from your sound source, you can hear it. But if you get 3 feet away, you don't hear it. It's about the vibration of it, not necessarily about hearing it. Now, if I'm doing a sing-along in the car, I have albums that I just do a sing-along with, then those are loud because I want to sing along with the words. But for most of the time in the car, as Stacy will tell you, I've always just liked silence. I don't do a lot of noise in the car.
as a kid growing up with lots of love for music, I was not allowed to listen to music, and it was challenging.
When I was driving,
Yes.
because my well-being was prominent.
And when I was driving as well, if you were in the car with me. And that's okay. And now I'm the same way, so I get it. Speaking of vibrations, hang on. Okay, so vibrations are also, as you know, very important. But one of the things that I found really powerful, and it's yoga slash our chakras. There's sound vibrations, like oming is one of the most powerful vibrational sounds. There's all kinds of soundings that can also happen too when you're oming. There's different techniques you can do, but it also what they say is it helps the pineal gland. But there's a thing, if you say lover you home, it's the initials. You can see I made them big, the L, V, Y, H, and Om. Those are really good just self practices. So la, and it goes, all of the letters except Om are AM afterwards. So LAM, VAM, YAM, HAM, and then Om. So that's a simple technique too, that if you're feeling anything throughout the day, even to help center or ground, the lam, bam, ram, yam, hum, Om. Lover, you home. Lam, vam, ram, yam, ham, om. And the goal is to get it in one big breath. And the om is usually much longer, and it's usually 3 points for lam. So 1 for L, and then the So in case you want to practice.
Let's do 1 now. Okay.
So L, V, R, Y, H, and then om. I forgot the R the first time. All right. Ready? So take a deep breath in wherever you are. Just take a nice deep breath in. Lam, vam, ram, yam,
Thank you. And so with that, and that is what?
This.
Oh, that's the Om sign. Okay, I've got one downstairs. Someone gave me
It's
that.
the chakras, yeah. So it's just the way my Tantra teacher remembered me to remember the order.
Okay.
So lover you home, and it's your chakras, the lam, yeah. But I find it very alignment. We did this in Egypt. So when we go into some of the tombs and some of the things, we would ground. And for me, it's energetically, it's like a poof, that puts you in your power place, but calm and collective and connected.
Michael?
I may have touched on this last Zoom call, but I find it's very, very important, just nutrition. Like I eat plant-based, I'm not pushing on anyone, but just about being mindful of the colors. And there is a direct link, I find, energetically.
First of all, I have a very difficult time with your accent. So when you're talking, if you could talk a little slower and put a little more space between the words, I'll have an easier time understanding you.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead, because I really want to understand you.
Yeah. So last time, I believe I may have touched on this in the last Zoom call. However, I think there is a direct link between your chakras and the colors and your nutrition and how that affects you energetically and even mentally. I eat plant-based, and I find just aligning with the colors throughout the day, my paradigmatic thinking changes, or I tune into the vibration of that sort of wave frequency of that color and that chakra. So I find my thoughts become focused on sort of those associations to those certain chakras that I might and body for the day. I think that's
I-
quite important to be
I
mindful of.
100% agree with you. And I think that we are seeing each thing sort of as different components, but they're very much interrelated. Your heart, we understand, is an organ and it beats. And of course, we know that nutrition impacts it. We know there's all kinds of things that impact the system that the heart is a part of. We're only learning that the chakras are also connected to our physical organs as well. And so I think we can deal with them at lots of different levels, energetically or visually with the colors, or physically or nutritionally or thought, or there's a zillion different ways of connecting. And if we can begin to blend that process and not think about them as separate individuals, it makes it a little bit easier. But absolutely, I agree. And thank you for talking slower. I had a much easier time understanding you.
That's okay. Yeah.
And
Okay.
also, I put this up, so if you are kind of newer to them, the crown is on top, and then the red is the sacral. We usually start with this, they call it the first chakra, which is on your base of your spine. Solar plex, or this is sacral, which is your reproductive organs. Solar plex is the yellow, heart is the green, and you can see there's also symbolism in each one as well. Throat chakra, third eye, and crown. And obviously
And-
they say we have more coming.
And
Their
as
ears,
humanity,
our hands, and our
as humanity works through their lessons and as individuals work through their lessons, you'll be focusing on the skills and ability at that level. And so sometimes you don't get, above certain levels because at this point you're still working on those issues. So again, trust, do, allow, it'll all be perfect.
And if you know there's things like, for example, if you have blood pressure issues, right? Or even throat can be your thyroid issues or speaking up. Sometimes just wearing a crystal of those colors.
Did you just tell Michael that I was hard of hearing?
Earlier.
I did.
I don't want you
just-
talking about me behind my back. And I don't think that that's necessarily the case when I've got the earphones on. So please don't do that ever again.
Mom, you have hard of hearing. It's okay. There's
Stacey,
nothing to be embarrassed about it. No, but when you have
I'm not embarrassed. It's not your business. It's one of
It
those
is.
things that you're out of your lane. It's if there was something I wanted to say, I could say it, but it's not in your lane. So don't get out of your lane.
I'm going to do what I feel that is appropriate. If it helps someone understand why you're asking them to slow down and repeat several times, I think it's fair to say, oh, that makes sense.
It wasn't at all because of the volume of his talk. It was about the accent of the blending it together. But I'm glad that you care about my auditory condition, but please don't ever do that again.
I was still quite mindful. I probably was talking quite fast as well.
Well, that's actually a sign of intelligence. So
I think I have a lot of downloads and they just seem to come out.
Yeah.
My throat chakra is very open.
no problem. And anything else? All right, if it's 7:53, I will do, which makes it 2 hours. So I'll do private messages or sprinkles until 8:15, and then we'll do an official close. So if you put your name in the chat box real fast, then I'll go in the order that you get in the chat box.
I want to just touch on something, and I don't want to talk on it too long. Just I don't know who's joined the call, but it's just come across in different chats with other people. They wanted to put this out. I think the energy of yesterday, this was very much in the collective. In terms of substance abuse or just using substances like those that smoke, I think that can be very much trying to protect the heart space and cloud it in smoke and escape and not go within. So I think it's
I
very
don't know what you're
mindful.
talking about. I don't know what
Oh.
you're talking about. So give me more backstory.
Sorry, a lot of people are talking about sort of substance abuse and people that might be smoking cigarettes or alcohol, and especially that's very much in the 3D, and it's a social aspect of the external culture. to a great extent. I was just saying, I don't know who is listening to this call, but in terms of abuse or just, codependency on those behaviors, smoking, for instance, is to protect your heart space and your lungs, and kind of neglecting going within.
One of the things that I've been told about smoking and alcoholism, because they're very related, is that when the Native Americans judged the white man, that they took the sacred substance of the white man, which was their wine, the sacred wine, and abused it, which then the Native Americans became alcoholics. And white man made fun and ridiculed and judged the red man's sacred substance, which was the tobacco and the great spirits. Smoking was the way they reached the great spirit. And so there were very sacred acts, but both of them judged and ridiculed and ended up abusing the other's substance, which they are both being destroyed by. And I'm told that will continue until the red man can honor and respect the white man, and the white man can honor and respect the red man. And I've had many people come into my life who were smokers and who were alcoholics, who did not want to be those things, and asked me how they could change it. And I said, make it a sacred activity, that when you smoke, to literally take the moment to say a prayer or go to spirit and imagine that cigarette being that connection from you and God, and to literally connect with it in a sacred way. And the same thing with the alcohol, to use it as a sacred substance to connect with the divine. And in every case, without exception, the people who did that gave up the addictive nature of their habit and put the habit all together, and in very short time with no withdrawal. But it's our abuse and judgment of it that actually makes it worse. But if you can honor and respect and connect with it as a sacred activity, it's much easier to release. And I've had people stop smoking in a couple of days, but they have to truly be in that space, not just wanting to be in that space.
I don't share with judgment. It just comes from a place of compassion. And if I think it can affect your field, like I don't know much about tobacco itself as a substance, but like commercial cigarettes and the fact that there's so many additives that aren't tobacco itself, but our minds, I'm not saying worries me, but
but our minds can neutralize all of that. You have to work harder to neutralize, but you can neutralize all that. And the same thing with any kind of drug abuse.
Alchemy is not readily in sort of the 3D collective consciousness. They aren't clearly aware of the power of their thoughts and their alchemy and transfiguration. So it's their journey. But,
it is their journey, and it is their things. And many light workers have gone through the addictive process. One, the chemicals, as I'm told from spirit. I've never done any drugs, not inhaled. So even though I was in the 60s, I didn't partake. But I'm told that many people, when they use those drugs, it puts them in that spiritual place, but it burns out the path they get there naturally. So a lot of light workers would take and get addicted to drugs because they wanted that feeling of unity, even though they were destroying their ability to get there naturally. The same thing with sex addictions, that when you have an orgasm, you are in that vibration as high as you can be in your body at this time. So many light workers would become sex addicts. It was like they were craving that orgasmic experience. And so a lot of times, for the best of reasons, you can get sidetracked. But any addiction of any kind will take you off your journey, because now you need it in order to live a peaceful, serene, loving life, whether it be a YouTube clip that you have to watch what so-and-so is saying every time, or social media, or any other addiction that you have to have, then know that it doesn't serve you. So, and if you pay attention to your body, you'll feel when it serves you and when it doesn't. Anything else?
Mhm.
You'll just explain what a spirit sprinkle is.
A spirit sprinkle is just a message. It's just, if I were doing a private session, we'd have a whole hour of digging different things and doing things that serve you. A spirit sprinkle is just sort of an opportunity for you to ask a question. And I tap into your energy. I'm connected, so I get messages that way as well. And just give you whatever it is that is most troublesome to you. And you ask a question, because when I tap into your energy, your whole existence is there, and it would take me too long to sift through. So by asking a question, it just allows me to sort of go to that place that is most important to you at this moment in time. Jennifer, can I start with you? I don't know if you put your hand. I don't know if you put your name down or not, but
Yeah, so real quick, it's like a spiritual message. Yes, it could be Akashic Records. It could be what she's very connected with the spirit. So it's kind of, I don't say all encompassing. It might be a message from your guides. It might be, it's kind of everything. And the thing is, you do have to be on the Zoom to be able to receive the message. And so I know you've been on here for a long time. If you do want to get on the Zoom, you can.
But you can ask a general question from the peanut gallery. I just don't have time to tap into individual energies, because it's possible, but it's just way too much because there's too many detours. Yeah. But you can still ask general questions. So with that said,
it is a spiritual message.
Well, it's about your spiritual growth. It's kind of our theme. So it's whatever is going to help you or holding you back or whatever is important. So Jennifer, since you looked like you were inviting me in, with Jennifer, I played with her so much, she doesn't need to say her name, but generally you say your name, and in speaking your name and in your name itself, it connects me to your energy. But I've played with Jennifer so many times that I kind of know her energy. So Jennifer, what's your question?
Okay. So my question is can you tap into this or tell me more about the little awakened activist in me and maybe where I'm going with this or where I can go with it?
It's your mind that's wanting to know the destination and the path you take. It's your heart that will guide you. So you need to let that go. But what I'm seeing is in the past and past lifetimes, past experiences, you have been one of the huge way showers. I mean, there were always those, and I'm getting chills like crazy. Are you getting chills?
Yes.
Jennifer? And you don't even know what I'm going to say yet, but as soon as it formulates in my brain, but it's like you were the Gloria Steinem of the women's movement. You have been in front leading, and I'm constant chills. I mean, I'm just incredible chills. You have been in the forefront of leading many crusades that have changed humanity and consciousness, and that you have those skills, you have those abilities, and you also have the following. People don't recognize you perhaps in this space, but they recognize that you are someone they trust and can follow. So all you need to do is tell your story, and you're going to find lots and lots of people following you. And I will also say that in many lifetimes you've lost your life because of your activism, and it doesn't bother you at all. You just jump into the next body coming in. So be fearless. Nobody can do anything to you, and you have all the skills already in place. So just trust your heart. Trust your heart. I will say with love, though, your book will help, writing your book, because it will give you a credibility. But I see lots of media. So reactions, thought?
Yeah, I almost started to cry when you said that, because it was just so true, because I have had signs along the way. One of them being Excalibur. I knew I had to, look for the truth, and now that I've opened up to it, now it's time to do.
Yeah, once you open the truth, you just go with the flow, Karen. Just it's there. But you also don't shy away from getting into politics. I mean, that's another level of activism that's very familiar with you. So
It's funny because I
trust
met with Dr. Shiva, the state senate, who started to expose the fraud before it even happened with Trump. I met with him the other day in a small group, and he's going to train us to help him to start a grassroots movement here in Massachusetts to, expose the truth, but to kind of start together as a community and grow.
yeah. Trust it. I mean, again, when you're working with spirit, you don't have to do anything. You just have to be open to follow the path. The breadcrumbs are in place. You just like meeting with the senator, with this, with that. It's just going to happen one step at a time, very naturally. You don't have to go out there and beat the drum and make it happen. That's when you're doing it the hard way. That's when you're doing it alone. You're unplugged at that point in time. Just stay plugged in and follow your heart, and the way will be shown.
And Jen, as soon as you said that, I was kind of instantly like, of course you are, because you have such a gentle, loving, compassionate energy and vibe. It's a lot easier to have people listen to you. So I'm not at all surprised, because that's really the best penetration, to be able to get people to open up and see different. If someone's yelling and screaming and it's like you have no desire to even want to open up to that. So I'm totally not surprised that you're being called to it.
I said the other day to somebody, and I don't know if I heard this from somewhere before, but it was like, sometimes you need to whisper to bring people closer. So it's not about how loud you can be.
Yeah. Well, and that's also the example of the best way to show someone to do something is just by embodying it. It's not by preaching. It's not by telling. It's just about living and being in that. And that is literally the most impact we're going to do as light workers, is just living in the light. If we can just be in a place of living love, it will be the most transformative. Not telling you should be in love, you should be out of your head. That's going to be the most resistance. The best is just to be in the peace and be in the place, and they're going to be like, wow. And that's how a lot of my healing began, of seeing like, wait, you can get through the sexual trauma, like you can be free in your body again, like was seeing that. And it was like, oh. And so there's no accidents.
Yes.
And I'm pleased to say that many of the, and I shouldn't say many, some of the volunteers who worked for my campaign stay in touch with me and are now in office, because of they saw that if you can run for president, I can do this and I can do that. And I have one now who's taken a federal position directly from my campaign. And I think that's phenomenal.
Wow.
So,
And for those of you that don't know, Mom did actually run for president of the United States in 96.
yeah.
And
And you might have noticed I lost too. So
There was a higher.
it's okay. Well, it was everything I was taught and I was given during that 10-year decade of my life are now what I'm using. I mean, it's like, it's amazing. So I feel that experience was in prep for this experience. Powerful.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Give them hell.
And there's a few people that put their
Give
name
them
in.
heaven. Give them heaven.
So
Okay.
Taylor,
Who's next? Who's next?
Taylor, and then Anna.
Oh, Taylor. Okay, Taylor. All
Yes.
right. Okay. Are you unmuted? Yes, you are. All right. Say your name and then ask your question. Okay, you're muted. I'm not hearing anything.
Not
So-
muted. We just have to hear. Now she's muted.
Okay, say it again. You were quiet.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yay, now I can hear you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Taylor. And my question is, how do I remember to make space within the turbulence?
Well, keep in mind that the overhead image of a hurricane or whatever in the eye of the storm is always quiet and peaceful. Everything around it is going crazy. And the further out it goes, the crazier the wind and the damage and the barns being flying or whatever. But the inside is very calm. And so you just want to always carry the intention of being in the calm, the eye of the storm, being in that calm place, no matter what's going on around you. If you can't separate yourself from the crazy, then you're going to be in that outer crazy all the time. And it's a choice. It's a choice. Almost every aspect of your life is a choice. So today, when we hang up the phone, sit down and just feel what that calm would feel like. And then sort of take a mental picture of it so that you can go back to that place whenever you choose. So that, again, my bathroom is my sacred space. So when you go to the bathroom, just imagine bringing in that calm. And a place where I test myself is at family gatherings. You know, can I stay calm in the middle of a family gathering, which is anything but calm? Can I stay calm when everything around me is not calm? You know, in the middle of an airport, begin to literally to feel what that feels like. Once you can carry the thought pattern of that, you can replicate it whenever you think about it, whenever you choose to. And so, but you first have to identify what it feels like. I was being given lessons on flying without the plane and parachute and those kind of things, that literally how to move into the air without anything. And I was told to buy a trampoline, and I did, and jump on the trampoline to know what it feels like going up and know what it feels like coming down, but isolate the thought of what it feels like to be neither. That there's a moment when you're going up where you freeze before you start coming down again. And when I could isolate that thought, then I could replicate it whenever I chose. And, you know, again, we're overcoming all these beliefs. I could get to the point where my toes were not supported on the ground. They were just making contact. But as of this moment, I haven't been able to break contact yet. I know I'm going to, but I just haven't done it yet. And so it's holding the thought of it, and then you can replicate anything. And that's what you're doing. You came into a world by choice that was crazy, chaotic. Now you're defining, you're carving out your own little world that is serene, almost like a monastery kind of thing, that's total serenity. And then your world will begin to expand and people will want into your world. That's where your magic will occur.
Thank you. That definitely resonates. Thank you for the example, especially. And
I grew up in a crazy loud family as well. One of the things I did for my own growth was go down to the Abbey of Gethsemane. It's in Kentucky. It's a abbey where Thomas Merton did all his work in silence, and the whole abbey is silent. There's no talking anywhere on the grounds. The only time you're able to talk, there's like a period in the evening for a very short time that you can talk, and then there's prayers and that kind of stuff where they talk, like in these services. But other than that, it's complete silence. And I went down there for a week, and it was an amazing experience to be in silence for a week. So I highly, if you can get the time away, I highly recommend that you might think about doing that, because for you, you have to create it for yourself and then expand it out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next, Stacy?
Next is Anna.
Okay, Anna. All right, let me just clear the energy for that.
Okay, Google, connect to
and then Anna, if you would like to
Yeah, go ahead.
Say your name and then say your question.
My name is Anna, and very general. What best serves me in this moment?
Trusting yourself you second guess yourself in lots and lots of different ways. Um, should I do this? Could I do that? What if? You play all those mind games that second guess yourself rather than just, this is how I feel. I'm going to act in confidence, act in trust. So I definitely say moving into self-trust is your biggest challenge and opportunity right now. And, whatever it is in the world that brought you here will take you to every place you need to be when you need to be there. So just trust. It's all divinely perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice. Okay. So
Who's next?
someone mentioned something on Instagram that I'm just going to read because I think it's you, because of your story and what you were just saying, that they believe that they now understand that you might have a hearing problem because it's a frozen trauma field from your childhood. Probably. So just a thought that to marinate on. The next person.
Oh, hold a second. Don't jump on that. It could easily be one of the things, because I do like noise. I mean, I do like quiet, the quiet car, quiet this, quiet that. I like quiet. If you see me jump or make strange faces when there's loud, abruptive noises, and even as a child, if someone yelled, I would pass out. And if I go on a date with someone who raises their voice, that's it. Never do I see them again. So it's very easy. That could very well be. I'll just have to play with that to figure out how to release it if that's a possibility.
Well, it struck my heart cores like really deep, and it was actually a little scary to even say that, but at the same time, you and I do kind of verbalize everything. So I thought it was important, and it's not by accident that it happened. So I thank you for opening with loving years.
And again, people watch this and they see interactions, and then some of them probably hold their breath and go, oh my God. But we talk literally 2-3 times a day sometimes. I mean, it's very unusual that we don't talk at least once during the day, and sometimes a lot more. So we have a different kind of relationship, and that I'm very honest with her and would not respect myself if I weren't honest with her, and vice versa. So, well, and I do believe that you respond in the situation with the audience that happened. I could talk to her, and many people have that belief system that you talk to her after the thing is over and not in front of other people. I don't believe that. I think it's a learning experience always. Whatever the audience is that it happened in front of is where I'm going to discuss the issue. If it happened in private, I would discuss it in private. If it happened in public, I discuss it, because you are all observers to this experience and are also equally learning from it. It's not going to impact my relationship with Stacy. If it was, we wouldn't be doing this together. But it is also another growth experience for all of you as well. So.
Well, and it's funny because they were like, as I was saying, they're like, don't tell her I said that. I don't want to anger her. And so I said, too late. And then I said, we talk about everything. And then we got a bunch of hearts as you were saying that. Because I think this is the other thing too, is that we're still learning how to communicate as a people. And so a lot of people too that are around Mom and I are a lot, they're kind of like, because they're not used to being able to have a conversation without it going into
total honesty.
And of course, yeah,
you've got to be in total honesty.
Human. We can get upset. We do get, I mean, that's a natural reaction, but to stay in that reaction is a choice. To come back into like, let's talk about this is a different response. So I appreciate that. And then they also said they can help you release that if you'd want. And then they're also feeling a lot of heat now in their heart chakra from this conversation. But I think it's important too. We're learning how to have healthy.
I would love, I'm always open to help. So please feel free to email me at heather@heatherharder.com and let me know what I need to do to release it or work with you. That's fine. I am not.
Totally. And they said they're new to it, so they just wanted to be polite. And I totally understand that. And that's the thing. We all have different dynamics with each other. And my relationship with my mom is going to be different than my relationship with anybody, just because we have different dynamics. I mean, I came out of her.
Um,
I was created inside
Also-
of your. Okay.
in this world, you will be learning until you die. As soon as you stop learning, you're dead. So, if anybody thinks or anybody professes they've arrived and they have no more lessons, they're lying to you and they're lying to themselves. So I am always open to growth. And I am very, very willing to continue growing. I love it. So, all right, who's next, Stacy?
Josie. And then real quick, I know there's like Mayfer and some people are also on IG that have joined us before. So you do have to, if you want to sprinkle, you do have to get on the Zoom. But
I think it's too late because it's already 8:20. So let me finish the people in the room.
Oh,
And then next time they can get on if they want to sprinkle. General questions I will take, but I don't think we need to add anybody to this list today. Sorry, Major. Okay.
I love
Josie.
you. Personally, I appreciate this interaction broadening effect.
And that's why we have it. We're open to experience. And it's also one of the things why you shouldn't shy away with any conflict. Conflict is a very powerful tool for growth. What I call compassionate conflict is coming with love and honesty. And if you're one of those people who just has to have peace at all costs and you don't want to say anything that may upset somebody, then you're not playing spiritually. It's about being in your truth. And if someone says something that hurts your feelings, say, this hurt my feelings. I don't like that. This is not appropriate, or this is whatever you want to say, but be in your truth. And they may or may not respond the way you want them to respond, but it is very important that you recognize when the conflict happens. Maybe next time we'll talk about conflict. So put that down so you guys are here next week, because there's a whole lot more stuff that we can say in conflict, but I do want to end the call at some point. Lots of energy goes through me. And so when I start dripping sweat, I know that it's coming to a close because I'm reaching my maximum temperature. So Josie,
Yes.
say your name and your question.
Okay, my name is Josie, and my question is, what is my higher self trying to tell me?
Josie, you are so not ready to hear what your higher self is telling you.
Or just went by.
If I could do anything, it's like an image of this very exasperated angel pounding on the top of your head. You're very thick, and you're not open to it because you've been programmed with so much disinformation about yourself and your world. So you're still shutting. You're still having to let go and just be in truth. And I would suggest that this week, until further notice, just imagine getting up every morning and taking a layer of non-truth off, because you filled yourself with so much lack and limitation that you can't even begin to hear what your higher self wants you to know. If I could describe this angelic being that's very gentle and very sweet and very sparkly and very kind and very soft, it's like that's the core essence of your energy that you've put layer and layer and layer of terracotta and steel and mud and various things on to protect yourself because you chose a very harsh world. And so you can't even begin to let this higher self through to you, whether it's talking or expressing itself through you, until you take off all this that's not you. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So quit it. Just get up in the morning and just imagine taking there's a in Thailand, there was a huge Buddhist statue of terracotta. And it's true story. And they were building a road through this place, and the statue was in the way. So they had to move the statue. And so they, covered it up and whatnot because of the rains and whatnot. And they moved it. And one of the monks who was in the thing looked under the tarp and saw something shiny. And as he investigated, he found that the terracotta had cracked. And underneath the terracotta was a 100% solid gold statue.
Wow.
A solid gold statue, huge, huge. That apparently at one period of Thailand's history, it had been exposed, but then this marauding, warring group was coming through and they wanted to protect the statue. So they covered it with this terracotta mud so that it would look cheap and unvaluable, so that the people wouldn't try and steal it. And they didn't. They killed off all the monks so that no one knew that it was really a 24 karat solid gold statue under the mud until they moved it and it cracked. And that's the way, so much like you and so many others, that we have so much preciousness, so much value, so much incredible wealth in us and are us, that we have to protect it with this mud. And this is the time where all of us are asking us to step up and be ourselves, be our 24 karat solid gold, amazingly priceless treasure. And that's when you can begin to do what you're about. How many got chills on that story? I got lots of chills on that story. And I know the story, and when I tell it, I get chills. All right,
So
thank you, Josie.
I can show that gold.
Yep. Let
Let it
go of
go.
all the mud.
One of
No
the
gold
things,
in the mud.
a simple thing too, Josie, is like when you take a shower, just intend it to bless you and love you and rinse off anything that's no longer serving you. And just have those intentions.
Yeah, any kind of those visualizations help, because it sets the intention. It gives you something to focus the energy on. So just allow it to be. Stacy,
Okay.
next. We'll do another one.
Thank you.
Yes.
Welcome.
Have to go to this again.
What?
I'm just looking back. Is there anybody else that I missed who wants to sprinkle?
Michael? Okay, Michael's our last one then. Okay, Michael, say your name and then say your question.
Hi, I'm Michael. I just want to put this forward only if it seems possible. Would there be any message from my energy or my spirit for myself or the collective that comes through me that you could pick up on? And is that all right to ask?
No, that's fine to ask. It's interesting that you said collective. Is that something you know about?
Yes, I believe I do connect.
Okay, because you very much are a representation of the eighth dimensional being, which is a collective consciousness that comes into Earth, which has both its blessings and its drawback, because you have so many different conflicting and competing talents and skills and knowledges, abilities, that sometimes it's hard to create momentum in one direction, because you have all these factions that are pulling you in so many different directions. It's like a committee trying to get something done. It's much harder than just a single person working online, but it's another level of knowing that at this point in time, getting your collective to work in harmony is your greatest challenge. Knowing about it certainly makes it easier. It doesn't stop the lessons. And think in terms of an orchestra, and then the conductor's job is to get this orchestra of all these individual instruments to work in harmony, to work in peace, to bring out the beautiful music. And so you need to create, if you don't already, practices that allow you to visualize, to experience, bringing in the conductor, which is that collective consciousness, in order to orchestrate harmony within all the factions, all the groups. Does that make sense?
Yes. I don't know if this will help information-wise, but I feel like it's quite divine feminine collective that I draw from. I do work with the masculine and I've been trying to balance and work in neutrality between the two energies within myself, but it is quite more overwhelmingly or dominant.
In
that
my
comes
truth,
through.
our body, our physical body, along with our sexuality, ends with seventh dimension. And when we go above seventh dimension, we no longer have a physical structure. And so for me, it's not masculine, feminine energy. It's just a representation of universal energy in
I
different
do feel, yeah, that
formats.
representation going past that as well. So
Yeah.
would you say that I'm in the 8th dimension or connecting to that, or
Okay, it's
yeah?
when the call went out. Have you read Many Were Called? I highly
Sorry?
recommend my book, Many Were Called. I love that book, and I highly recommend you read it. But
I'll write it
anyway,
down.
in Many Were Called, when there was a call that went out, lots of different beings responded to that call and said, I'll help. Let me go help. We learn lessons through the different levels, just like in grades. You know, we go through first grade, we learn lessons. We go through second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. And we're learning lessons all the way. We go to high school, we learn lessons. We go to college, we
Thank
learn
you,
lessons. We go
Stacey.
to graduate school. We keep learning lessons over and over and over and over again. And so the same thing, we learn lessons at third dimension. We learn lessons at fourth dimension. We learn lessons at fifth dimension. And there are different kinds of lessons. Most of us who came back to work on this planet were not third dimensional beings needing to move through those lessons. We came back as volunteers, and we had to go back and repeat that level in order to be here to make a difference, to move into fifth dimension. After you go through, and if most of my books talk about the dimensions, so I won't go through it, but when you get to eighth dimension, that's a level of working in unity, and harmony is the biggest lesson. And you have all these different representations that are working together for the collective good, but for growth. It's still about your lessons. So when Earth needed helpers, you said, we'll go. And so you collectively created a avatar. That's a mob wheel. And that avatar came back to the planet in order to function at a third dimensional level, in order to take it through the transition to a fifth dimensional level. And so it wasn't that you needed those lessons, but you agreed to play in that playing game until Earth made a transition. And so you're still functioning as an eighth dimensional being in that eighth dimensional world, but you have the avatar functioning in this transitional world right now. So that some of the lessons are lessons that you need, but many more of those lessons are lessons that you're getting internally because you're working at creating inner harmony within that. Does that make sense?
So I'm in multiple dimensions at once.
We all
Part
are.
of my
Yes, we all are.
essence, yeah, is definitely in the 8th dimensional being, but I'm the avatar in the body moving into the 5th dimension and current drawing from the 8th dimension as well.
Yeah. And there are people here who representation, who have been planets before, and then the 10th dimensional beings help design planets. They're the ones that are the most intense about fixing this planet, helping this planet. They're the most committed and compassionate and intense about the planet because they know they screwed up. When those 10th dimensional beings were designing Earth, they didn't put a failsafe in. They never thought that people would choose hate and harm and fear and judgment when you could have anything. So they didn't do any safety process that stopped people from falling low. So when humanity began its descent, they went, oh shit, we forgot that part. And we're all back here to
the low
try and plug the
vibrational
gap.
was foreign to them. It wasn't considered. Yeah.
And as we open up our consciousness, we begin to become aware of the other dimensions we're playing in, the other consciousness fragments. We talked one time about being on ship and also being on Earth. But it's there for anybody who's able to do it, but don't force it. Let it happen naturally, because if you force it, you can go crazy. Yeah. I worked with probably 20 years ago, I worked with a 21-year-old who was literally, his parents were very afraid that he was losing his mind. But what he was doing was flipping through the dimensions. It was like, if you can imagine changing channels and getting it stuck, and then every little bit you're changing channels, and it would drive you crazy. Well, that's really what he was doing with Earth. So I had to teach him how to pull his energy back so he could get anchored in one dimension and get his stability before he visited others. So you never want to force these skills. It's not healthy. It's not good for you.
This is my 23rd year in this avatar. So I'm 23 now. However, around this time last year, actually, I was in hospital because my family couldn't deal with what was projecting from my throat chakra and everything.
Yeah.
And they didn't
Yeah.
know, they
That happens.
don't understand it.
And we've had people who've been locked up and committed and all kinds of things. My family just thought I was crazy. They didn't do any action toward it because I had the other end, which gave me great credibility with being a professor and having gotten a PhD and all that kind of stuff.
They didn't
So
have
they-
a vacuum or teaching
Yeah. So,
protection. Yeah.
but they still, you know, about half my family still thinks I'm totally insane. So it's okay.
You can also
Yeah,
have people who reach this state and then they try to go back to the 3D and then they end up in an institution or something because there's that chaos within them trying to integrate back into the 3D and they can't.
I have found that if you allow sort of nature to take its course, you don't have problems. It's when you
Yeah.
force it, and you do whatever you're going to do to make it happen, that's when you get yourself in trouble. Hypnosis, I've said the same thing. Hypnosis is forcing your mind to give you information that it's choosing not to give it. You can do great damage in forcing it. So just don't force anything. Let it be easy. It didn't happen. Tell your mind you're ready for whatever, but let it happen. And it'll happen in divine time, which is much safer and healthier. Okay, she's answering questions, someone apparently. All right. Any other questions? We're gonna close it off. We're now 2.5 hours into it. Yay! So we're a chance. Anybody have a question, or Stacy will come back and then we'll have her see if there's anybody online that's got questions or comments, and then we'll do my little close. And I like my little close to be the last thing that we do. So.
Hello. Okay.
We're waiting for you, Stacy. Any questions, any comments from the ethers?
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming on. There's a lot of new faces and it always love to see that. Just a reminder, my name is Stacy Harder. You can find me on Instagram, which is where most of you actually have found me, but also this will be replayed on YouTube, and my channel is just Stacy Harder. I'm new. I think I have 16, 15 subscribers, but you can always do the replays, and I do recommend the replays because as it's inspired conversation, you'll hear different messages at different points. And I also love the meditation, especially in the beginning. It's really powerful. So I just want to say thank you if you are joining us. Love you. Thank you for being on this planet in this magical time and joining us in this journey together. And this last power statement that Mom has is beautiful. And then again, thank you for being who you are and all this yumminess that's happening on the planet. It's just so much love. And
our job is just to love it. Love the drama. We don't have to be a part of it. We just have to love it. Yes, Stacy.
We do have a question from Mafioso. What are your thoughts on the halo chakra located a few inches above the crown chakra? There's actually a few chakras up there.
Yeah, there's 12 from my teaching. There's 12 from our crown chakra up. And I'd say at this point in time, why worry about them? You know, for so long, humanity didn't even know we had germs. And then we got into the awareness that if we washed our hands, we eliminate some of the illnesses. And then we got a microscope so we could actually see the germs. And so we've been a constant progression of information. So I think understanding the crown chakra is a mental process. And as you heard me talk, it's much better to be in your heart. If you need to know about the crown chakra or the halo chakra, the universe will tell you if you're open to it. And Stacy,
protective, or is it just
what?
part of your energy?
Energy. No, because when you're in your spiritual truth and authenticity, there's no protection. The protection is the terracotta mud from our lower level, being afraid of what's going to happen. But you're totally, as you move into spiritual truth, you're totally invincible. You're totally vulnerable and you're totally invincible. So anytime we're getting any kind of protection, it's coming from that lower mindset.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Well, we already have Jennifer looking forward to our compassionate conflict for next
And
week.
Jennifer, your job is to remind us. And then Stacy, one of the things that I got today that we're going to start is we are going to start a mastermind group for interdimensional communication. And so it'll be different than the classes. Pardon?
Let's pause. Interdimensional communication is channeling, because we're not just channeling.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Don't define it as channeling. Channeling is when I bring information through me for someone else. You're the go-between. You're the medium. It's coming through you to someone else. Interdimensional communication is when you're communicating with source or source's helpers for your own and various good. Sort of the difference between being a good communicator and being a public speaker. Very different. They have different skills. So the world does not need another medium or another channeler. The world needs all the people who are directly connected to spirit as they can get. Does that make sense, Stacy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't finished, but yes, because I say interdimensional because we're on different dimensions and different beings. It's not all human. It's not angels. It's all kinds of things. But yes, that's fine.
That's fine. Okay. How to talk to ghost spirits, angels, and other dead people is sort of the whole title of the book. All right. So any other questions? Any other comments? Okay. So we're going to say our little, anybody else want to do a goodbye? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Michael. Anybody else want to make a comment for closing? Closing comment? Okay, Jennifer, thank you.
As always, it's just such a beautiful evening with you, Dr. Heather and Stacy, and all my friends now out there.
It does feel like a family. We're getting together for our little group. I love seeing faces. Selena, I'll look forward to seeing your face next week. I hope that you'll show us who you are.
Every week we grow closer and awaken a little bit more. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. So thank you.
Hi, Joy.
My favorite part of the week.
It's the only part of the week that I put makeup on and do my hair. So the rest of the week with masks, who cares? So I get cleaned up just for you guys. Anybody else want to say anything? All right. So with our closing, our official goodbye, and then we'll sign off with no further comment, although you've got Stacy's email address. Did you, Stacy, put your email down? And you've got mine in case you need it. And then I see some people are adding their Instagram accounts and their Facebook accounts. So please feel free to do that in the messages as we do as well.
I don't email, so I'm not really the emailing type. But you can DM me, and I'm half pretty good at responding. But yes, Heather's email is heather@heatherharder.com. Her website is heatherharder.com. If you do want to get any of the books, you can get them through her website. You can get them on Amazon too, but I find that a lot of times there's other sellers selling them for more money. So my friends paid like double the price. And if it goes directly to Mom, then she gets the sales for it. So I like supporting her. And again, if you are new, I do have the Many Were Called, Few Were Chosen. I read chapter on my YouTube channel. So it's chapter by chapter there, and it's a really powerful book. And yes, compassionate conflict is for next week. And there was one more question, but I don't remember where it went. So thank you. Love you all. Be the love and light we are. Okay, Mom.
Okay. So now bring yourself down to a perfect peace. Let us close in the harmony of peace and understanding. Let us stay open to the gentle whispers of the universe and her teachings. Let love keep us warm, safe, and confident. Assist us to remember the gentle way, the compassionate path, the empowered highway of courage, and our commitment to our road of service. Remind us to stay open to the blessings and joy of our sacred journey and all those in the non-physical who assist us in every way. Until next time, I remain your committed friend, and send you loads of love, light, and laughter until we meet again.